Brett Cecil flirted with perfection into the 7th inning before Johnny Peralta ended the no-hit bid and a shutout. But the fact remains, this Tribe offense still struggling. Who will be the spark? Will it be a veteran like Grady Sizemore or a youngster like Matt Laporta? We'll find out next on Sports Time Ohio. From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, it's a gorgeous night for baseball as the Tribe tries to get things turned around tonight. They take on the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Indians were shut down, nearly shut out, almost no hit last night by left-handed starter Brett Cecil. It won't get any easier tonight as they'll oppose southpaw Ricky Romero. But offensively for Toronto last night, the story was get after the first pitch, get after it hard, and swing the bat with authority, and they did just that.
Well, early and often. They lead the league in home runs, and you can see the reason why, because this is the 7, 8, and 9 guys that did the damage in the lineup last night for Toronto. And, I mean, they were a very aggressive team. They got after the fastball early, and through the first time through the lineup, on the 9 hitters, 6 of them swung at that first pitch. Not necessarily put it in play, but they were ready to swing early. They're a very explosive team. They will strike out, so you're going to have to mix up your pitches if you want to keep them off stride.
They may be dead last in on-base percentage, but they're 6th in runs scored so far this year are those Toronto Blue Jays. Now, Jake Westbrook will be in charge of handling those Toronto bats. He pitched a whale of a ball game in Anaheim against a good Angels lineup last time out, but one pitch cost him the W.
Well, and that's unfortunate, and that's been the MO for Jake this year. He's been back, he's battled early into the games, and then all of a sudden he gets to the 75 pitch mark, and Maniac is going to have to keep an eye on him, because hitters after that point, and that pitch right there was over 75, and it was Torrey Hunter hitting the 3-run homer that tied the game with Jake Westbrook, 484 after the 75 pitch mark. So they're going to have to keep a close eye on him there. Ricky Romero, unbelievable season at this point, 36 innings, just 21 hits. He flirted with a no-hitter just 2 weeks ago against the White Sox.
Romero has a great fastball, good curveball, and a changeup that is lights out as well. We'll be back with all the play-by-play action coming up next.
Job.
Back here at Progressive Field, all ready to get underway tonight as the Indians take on the Blue Jays in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Jake Westbrook seeking win number 1 as he takes on Cito Gaston's group. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup. Fred Lewis will lead it off, then Aaron Hill, followed by Adam Lynn, Vernon Wells, Lyle Overbay, and Alex Gonzalez, who is a suddenly successful slugger for these Blue Jays. Jose Bautista, John Buck, and Travis Snider rounded out.
Today's starting pitcher brought to you by the Indians Team Shop, where you'll get 2 free tickets when you spend $50. Jake Westbrook making his 6th start, looking for his first win. Jake, his last start against the Blue Jays came on May 2nd, 2007. It was a 7-6 win over the Jays and Sean Markham. He ended up leaving that game. He had an oblique strain and was placed on the DL after that last time. So it's been a while since he's faced Toronto. We'll see if he can get that first win of the year. Let's check out the Home Depot doing more on defense. Indians defensive lineup. Kern Sizemore Chu in the outfield. It is Peralta, Valbuena at short tonight. Gruzalanic at second. Branyan at first. Behind the plate will be Lou Marson and Jake Westbrook, the pitcher. More savings, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot.
The umpires for tonight's ballgame will have Tom Hallion, the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes. Ron Culpa at first, Lance Barksdale at second, and Ed Rapuano down at third. Fred Lewis takes the first pitch strike. He was 0 for 4 in last night's series opener. 66 degrees, our game time temperature, as Lewis rifles a single into right field.
Well, the amazing thing this year against Westbrook, left-handers are hitting just 196. Right-handers are batting 361 off him this year. He being that sinker ball pitcher.
There's your umpiring crew with the veteran Tom Hallion behind the plate tonight. Aaron Hill, 2 for 5. He doubled last night. And there's a single towards center field for Aaron Hill, and the first 2 Blue Jays aboard to start tonight's ball game.
There we go. 3 pitches, 2 hits. They waste no time. You had better have a pretty good game plan. I mean, here's the location. See that ball middle of the plate. That's a high sinker. That's not a good pitch for Westbrook because that's not going to get by many right-handers. Hill slaps it into center field, so they're starting off on fire, 2 for 2.
Adam Lynn 0 for 2 last night. Blue Jays designated hitter. Jake Westbrook gets ahead with a first pitch strike. The Indians have been outscored in the first 2 innings on this homestand, 12-3 so far, and that's nothing new for the Blue Jays, though. They have gotten out to early leads all season long. Weak tapper towards first. Brandon will take the sure out at first. Fred Lewis to third. Aaron Hill to second with 1 out. Innings 1 through 4 this year, Rick, the Blue Jays have outscored the opposition by a total of 24 runs. That's the 3rd best run differential in innings 1 through 4 in Major League Baseball this year.
Well, Minnesota is a good team at that as well. I mean, when they were in here, the first 3 innings, they were one of the better teams. So you're getting back-to-back teams that score early and they have decent pitching.
Not surprising, Tampa Bay leads the way in that category. Vernon Wells goes after the first pitch, comes up empty. Vernon Wells 1 for 4 in last night's game. Westbrook's 0-1 pitch brushed him back. Evens the count, a ball and a strike. Vernon Wells, 8 homers, 12 doubles on the year. Jake's 1-1 pitch. Softly served towards center. Sizemore coming hard. He'll make the grab. Fred Lewis tags. He's coming home. Here's the throw. Hit the top of the mound, and Lewis scores. And the Jays take a 1-0 lead as Vernon Wells drives in his 20th run on the year.
That's the one thing you do as a center fielder. When you make that long throw in, a lot of times if that ball hits the upside of the mound, that's exactly what it does. It goes straight up. That's why a lot of times you like your cutoff man to be on top of the backside of that mound. So if you're going to hit him shoulder height, it's going to get over the hill, and it's going to get down there for a one-hopper. If not, that cutoff man can come up and cut it off because he knows it's not going to make it.
Here's the struggling Lyle Overbay. Overbay 0 for 4 in last night's ball game. Looks at a ball down low, 2-0 the count. After the first 13 games this year, Overbay was just 4 for his first 50. But Cito Gaston feels like this is a key guy for their offense, and they really need to get him going. 2-0 pitch. Outside, 3-0 the count.
Well, if Cito's worried about that, his number 5 guy getting going. You look at number 7 and 8, they've got more RBIs than our 3 and 4 guys do. I mean, when you look at it, they've got 32 RBIs, Batista and Buck.
Caught the outside corner, 3-1 the count. Overbay, a guy who can be a free agent at season's end. Now the 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Full count. Overbay was out early, taking extra batting practice, trying to refine that swing and work the kinks out. Westbrook's payoff pitch. And we'll do it again at 3-2. Aaron Hill, the runner at second with 2 down here in the first. Jays on top 1-0. Westbrook about to deliver his 15th pitch of the first inning. 10 already for strikes. And now Overbay asks for time and steps out after Westbrook had stepped off prior to that move. Now everybody's ready. And again the 3-2. And he walked him. So the 2-out walk will bring up Alex Gonzalez. 1 for 2 last night.
Well, it's a 3-2 pitch. Even though first base is open, that's not a bad pitch right there. Looked like it had the knees. Look at Jake. He's biting his glove but not saying anything. He knows that's a pretty good pitch. That looked like a strike to me.
Tim Belcher not happy.
When a sinker ball pitcher doesn't get a pitch that's right there at the knees, it could be a long night because there was nothing wrong with that pitch. When he has to start elevating the baseball, then you're going to get in trouble.
Alex Gonzalez chased after a pitch, and the count quickly 0-1. Ran it in off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cito Gaston made some recommendations to Alex Gonzalez about loading up his hands early when the pitch is about to be made.
In other words, get up, let your hands work, get that front foot down, and
exactly
get ready to get into the hitting area.
Now, whether it was that simple of an adjustment that has allowed Gonzalez to have the start he's had, I don't know.
You know, sometimes it's just a little suggestion that you may get, that all of a sudden you understand what he's talking about, and then you, as a hitter, have to develop that into your game plan. Depending on who you're talking to, you could tell 10 guys the same thing, and it may click on with 2 or 3 guys that get it for their game, and they get confidence with it. Get the hands ready, get that front foot down, and let's go. Ouch. That's a sinker off the shin burger right there.
Gonzalez, six off the pace in the AL.
You never considered him an offensive threat. You know what I mean?
Not like this.
No, I mean, he's a great defender. He's got 8 homers. He's got 21 ribbies. He's got 10 doubles. I mean, you talk about that's playing well on both sides of the ball.
Little tapper back to the mound. Westbrook finishes him off, and the inning is over. But the Jays strike for an early run. The Indians come to bat, down 1-0. This starting lineup, it's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Mark Grudzielanek in the leadoff spot tonight with his Dribble Cabrera sideline with a quad injury. Grady Sizemore, Shin Soo Choo. Then it's Kearns, Peralta, and Hafner. Russell Branyan, Lou Marson, and Luis Valbuena round it out.
All right, Ricky Romero on the mound for the Jays, making his 6th start. Off to a very good start. 2-1 with a 2.25 ERA in his 36 innings, just 21 hits, 31 punch-outs. Left-hander with a good fastball, good curveball, and also a changeup.
And a first pitch strike to Mark Grudzielanek.
Last year, he won 13 ball games. Not bad for a rookie season. He's basically a ground ball pitcher. Led the league with 30 ground ball double plays. So 2.25 ground balls per fly ball.
Up high, 2 balls and a strike. Now the 2-1. And Grudzielanek just got a piece of that. Cito Gaston really believes that Ricky Romero is a future ace. That kind of stuff. Of course, the Blue Jays had a tremendous ace in Roy Halladay for years. Grudzielanek strikes out to start the game.
Let's check out the Blue Jays defense. They are rated 3rd in the league. They have made 12 errors. It's Lewis, Wells, and Snider in the outfield. It'll be Bautista, Gonzalez, Hill, and Overbay on the infield. And behind the plate again, John Buck.
You know, Rick, it's one thing to inherit the mantle of being a #1 starter. We saw that with CC Sabathia here in Cleveland at a relatively young age in his career. It's another thing to truly become an ace, a guy who the other players on your team look to and feel like we're going to win when this guy takes them out.
Yeah, but people say, well, he's our #1 starter. Why? Because he started your first game for you? You know, it's like a leadoff hitter. Yeah, you truly got to deserve being the ace of the staff. I mean, you're like a workhorse. And when they lost, they traded Halladay. Think about it. This is a guy, Halladay, that went down back to the minor leagues after he was in the major leagues for a year just to rebuild his mechanics because he lost it for a while. But, you know, supposedly they got a couple good young players. I know one, the Drabeck's son is in the organization. He was part of that deal coming over to Toronto, and we watched Brett Cecil last night. You've got this guy right here. You got Markham, Sean Markham, who's a very good pitcher, and they got, what, 6 or 7 pitchers on the DL.
Yeah. Called a strike, 2-2 the count. Sizemore was 1 for 3 last night, had one of the Indians' 2 hits. The 2-2 pitch. And another strikeout for Ricky Romero. 33 punch-outs already this year for Romero in 36 2/3 innings of work. Injury report brought to you by Friedman, Damiano, and Smith. When you're injured, depend on them. Find Friedman, Damiano, and Smith online at fdslaw.com. Rick talked about the injured Toronto Blue Jays.
Check out this list.
A lot of pitchers on that list.
Talent, Ripchinsky, McGowan, Richmond. Yeah, there's a lot of pitchers on that list. Where, if healthy, you still can only carry about, 12 pitchers?
Yeah. And the #1 guy at the top of that list, Edwin Encarnacion, was a guy that Cito Gaston looked at as a potential 20-homer guy for the Blue Jays this year. So as well as they've swung the bats and with the kind of power they have, that's a guy that Cito thought really could fit in nicely in that vein.
Yes, indeed.
Now Romero's 1-1 pitch to Chu. And the 2-1. Evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ricky Romero was a first-round pick back in 2005 out of Cal State Fullerton by Toronto. The 2-2 pitch. Bounced it in there. Swung on and missed, and Ricky Romero strikes out the side to start the game. After an inning, it's Toronto 1, Cleveland nothing. Women's baseball is brought to you by Subway. Play hard, eat fresh. By Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right. And by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Back here at Progressive Field, bottom third of the order. Due up for Toronto. In a lot of cases, you'd say, now this is the part of the order where the pitcher can kind of catch his breath and maybe have an easy inning, but not the bottom part of this Blue Jay order. Jose Bautista with 18 runs batted in. John Buck, the 8th hitter, with 14 ribbies. And then Travis Snider, who's off to a slow start. You wouldn't be convinced of that the way he swung the bat last night.
Yeah, you're right.
2 balls and a strike as Jose Bautista uncorked a big swing on that 2-0 pitch. Two and two, count even up. Bounced it in there, wouldn't chase after it.
Westbrook has been very good early, and as I mentioned earlier, pitch 1 through 75. Batting average against just 211. He's given up a homer and 4 extra base hits, but after you get to that 75th pitch, it's a little different.
Base hit in the left field. 3rd hit of the night for Toronto. And for the 2nd straight inning, their leadoff man is aboard.
Might have been a high. No, it's a fastball, high sinker, 94 miles per hour. It stays up there. That's sometimes that sinker. And, with Jake, you don't want to see Jake throwing 94 because that sinker is better probably at 91, 92 where you can get it down in the zone. 94 means it's not going to move up there.
Flatten out.
Yes, it certainly does. It flattens out.
Here's John Buck. 5 homers, 14 runs batted in, 8 doubles. And there's a fastball for a strike. 1-1 the count. As you pointed out last night, John Buck, no stranger to playing the Cleveland Indians after donning the Royals uniform all these years before coming to Toronto this season. The 1-1 pitch. Fouled back. In his last 4 starts, John Buck has driven in 8 runs batted in. And there's a long fly to left, but it's right at Kearns, who reaches down and makes the grab one away. Stick around after the game tonight for Chuck Galletti. It's Chuck's last call following the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care post-game show. He'll take your calls and emails following the ball game. Tonight after the game, only on STO, it's Chuck's last call. Here's Travis Snider. Looks at a ball outside. Cito Gaston saying that, well, he really hopes that Travis Snider can take what he did last night and bring it into tonight and just keep on rolling with it, because the way he swung the bat last night was impressive.
Well, he is a young slugger for a young man, and it's all going to be part of the learning process, but they can afford to hit him down in that number 9 spot and let him learn, throw out a lineup of some veteran hitters. But this kid has some pop in his bat. I'll tell you what, he can strike out a lot, but as all young hitters, they'll learn the strike zone.
Back to the mound, Westbrook. Almost threw it away. They did get him with the tag. Valbuena with a nice job and a rare misfire by Westbrook. He's one of the best in the business at fielding his position and turning those inning-ending double plays. But that one just sailed wide, and Valbuena did well just to make sure he got the out.
That's you're absolutely right. It's a good save. You know, instead of meeting him across the bag, he threw it, and Valbuena realized I wasn't on the bag, so come back and make the tag. A very heads-up play there. Could have opened the door up for an inning.
Now, Jake Westbrook doesn't need me to make excuses for him, but I wonder if he was on the side of the mound, and I wonder if that caused that ball to sail on him. Just kind of looked like an awkward position to throw in. Fred Lewis looks at a ball down low. Singleton scored the only run of this game in the first inning. Westbrook delivers, and Lewis chased after it to even the count.
Well, to me, I think Jake has he's had some back stiffness that has been going on, and I don't know if it has anything to do with him, but Jake's not a guy that falls behind, but the last 5 batters, he had 3 2-0 counts and a full count.
Runner goes. Swung on and missed. Throw to second. Not even close. Travis Snider with his second steal of the year. So a runner in scoring position with 2 away, and a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Fred Lewis. Lewis pulled a ball into right field his first time up for a base hit. And the 2-2 is outside and low, full
6
count.
6 batters, 3 2-0 counts, 2 full counts now. So this isn't 38 pitches. You're in the second inning, not a typical Jake Westbrook performance right now.
And the payoff pitch. Bounced foul up the third base side. There again, Westbrook showing good velocity. Second time
I'd rather see the movement.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'd rather see the movement off Westbrook because, you know, in his starts,
ball 4.
In his starts this year, it's been documented the first time through the lineup, he's outstanding where they hit just 175 off him. The second time through, it goes up to 237. But then the third time through the lineup, it's 517. So, you know, as they get to see him a little more, I think that stuff starts coming up in the strike zone, and he may lose some of that movement. And it could well be for not pitching for so long, you know, as he gets out there and just not having a feel. Maybe he does get tired, although you can say he may say he doesn't. But command of the pitches.
Pitches down low to Aaron Hill. 20 pitches in the first, now 21 on the second for Jake. And he's probably still a little bit frustrated that he wasn't able to turn that inning-ending double play as well. 2 balls, no strikes. Chop to third. Peralta goes the short way, and that'll end the inning. Blue Jays do not score. They leave a pair on base. And we'll go to the bottom of the second. Toronto 1, Cleveland 0. Bottom of the second inning, 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for the Tribe. Austin Kearns, Johnny Peralta, and Travis Hafner. Austin Kearns 0 for 3 last night. One of the few games this year where he hasn't had a hit.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't meant. I only recall one other game. It was when we were on the West Coast. Was it an Oakland game or?
I think it was.
There's not many. He's been pretty solid.
He's hit in 14 of 16 games, so there you go. Here's the 1-1.
Well, when you go about it and you say, well, he was hitless last night, you pretty much say that for everybody.
Well, that's true.
Because they only had 2.
Ricky Romero with a 2-1, and Kearns a bouncer to third. Bautista throws him out.
Well, let's see. First fireworks show of the season. It'll be this Friday night. The Detroit Tigers will be in town, and the fans will get to see a spectacular fireworks display synchronized to songs from the Billboard Top 100 Alternative Chart. It's also half-price student ID night. Call 216-420-HITS or stop by any Indians team shop.
Breaking ball up high to Johnny Peralta. Johnny delivered the first hit of the game for the Indians last night, and that hit delivered their only run. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he strikes him out. That's 4 punch outs already for Romero, 2 down here in the second. Here's our Subway fresh face of the game as we take a look at Cord Phelps, leading the Eastern League in batting average. Our Subway fresh face of the game. Subway, play hard, eat fresh. Travis Hafner 0 for 3 last night. Hafner trying to snap an 0 for 7. And there's that good curveball of Romero. 1 ball and 1 strike.
He does have a good one. I mean, this guy, you know, Toronto has 3 pitchers that have had no hitters this year going into at least the 7th inning. This guy was one. He had 8 innings. He was in the 8th inning before he gave up a hit. Sean Markham held Texas hitless into the 7th inning on opening day. You know, and then we had Brett Cecil last night going out in the 8th inning. So there's 3 guys in a matter of a month. That's pretty impressive.
That tells you it's no fluke.
No, that's exactly right.
Hafner pops it foul and out of play.
I mean, when you see the 2 lefties and the righty, look at that. Romero 7 innings, the 13th against Chicago. I was watching that game. Cecil last night here. Markham 6 1/3. That started. And then Morrow, who's starting tomorrow, had 5 1/3 against Kansas City.
Now the 2-2. Cito Gaston said he was rooting for a no-hitter last night. He said, I've been on the other end of those. And he said, I was a coach when Dave Stieb threw his perfecto against the Indians.
Yeah, back in 1990.
But he said, I'd like to see one as a manager. I'd like to be involved in one of those on the right side of it. The payoff pitch lined up the middle into center field. The Indians have their first hit. Hafner's 0 for 7 is history. And a 2-out base runner now for Russell Branyan.
Okay, now you can forget about that talk. Fastball away. Hafner stays on and hits it right back up the middle. So the Indians' first hit of the night.
Brandon cuts and misses. The 0-1 pitch outside. You may wonder, why would Russell Branyan get the start over Matt Laporta with a left-hander on the hill? Branyan's 2 for 8 against left-handed pitching so far this year. Laporta 2 for 26.
You got to get a veteran in there. And Branyan, you know, I don't care left-handed, right-handed. You know what? You can't worry about that now. It's too early into the year. You just got to get after it.
That was one he'd love to have back, I am sure.
Well, Russell's one of those guys that'll take swings like that. And you know what? He always takes a healthy cut. And he may foul a lot of them straight back. And he'll swing and miss at a lot of them. That ball's just high enough past that swing of his. You know, he's got that little uppercut swing.
Got him. 5 strikeouts for Ricky Romero through 2 innings. It's Toronto 1, Cleveland nothing. One nothing Blue Jays on top as we go to the 3rd inning here at Progressive Field. Adam Lind, Vernon Wells, Lyle Overbay to bat for the Blue Jays. And Jake Westbrook misses for ball 1. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you, and happy to be joined now by Chef James Major here at Progressive Field, and big event before the ball game tonight.
Yeah, it's been a busy day. We had a new rollout partnership with the Food Network. We started in our suites tonight, major rollout, all the press releases. We had all the press in today and feeding everybody tonight the new stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had a chance to taste it. It was outstanding, everything that you had over in the press dining room.
Well, thank you. We've been working on this since about late March when the Food Network came on board with our company, and it's just been a blast. We've had so much fun. This is like, being a chef and working with the Food Network, that's like, going to the majors.
That's the big leagues, baby.
That's the big leagues right there. So I'm so psyched. I've been walking around with a big smile on my face, but it's been a blast today.
Well, good.
So when is Alton Brown coming by to help out?
Whenever he wants. Mi casa, su casa. But we're trying to gear it to the suites. They wanted to get into the ballpark. They wanted to give. It's a good opportunity for research and development to see what we have more. Their research and development is so fantastic that we can get out there and try what we want, give it a shot. They'll give us the menus, and eventually you get the buffalo chicken mac and cheese. you want to go home and make that, you go to foodnetwork.com and you'll be able to bring that up and bet you see my smiling face.
It was good. It was really good tonight. Now, this is into the sweets as of May 1st?
Right now. It was started out May 1st, and we're already starting to get a couple hits on some of the stuff, but you can buy the food packages. I mean, it's just, and then as the summer goes and we get warmer, the menus will match the climate and make it seasonal.
Well, Bob Feller was here tonight, and he was in the press dining room sampling the hogs in a blanket, which is a little
knockwurst wrapped in.
It was great.
Yeah, it was knockwurst wrapped in a pretzel dough. And there's a real funny story behind that because the gentleman that I work with at the Food Network to roll this out, originally it was in puff pastry. And I said, it's just not working the puff pastry. It's a knockwurst. It's got to go with the pretzel. I said, let's do a pretzel dough. So he said, all right. I tried to get a couple samples of different things in here, and he said, Chef, what pretzel dough recipe do you have? I said, it's real simple. Go to foodnetwork.com, bring up pretzel, type in pretzel dough, and you'll see Elton Brown's pretzel recipe, and that's what we went with. That was, and he still loves me to tell that story. I was telling it today too, and it's just that's such a great little tool for all of us out there.
James, I wish you could have been in here before the game to see Rick absolutely destroying the beef short rib cobbler.
Yeah, it was all good. I asked him. I went in there. I said, all right, now what's good? He said, well, actually, it's all very, very good. I said, what should I try? He said, you better try it all. So as you saw my plate when I came in, I did try it all.
That is one of the recipes. Once we put it together, we did not touch it. And I'll tell you what, when I ate that for the first time, I just had a warm feeling inside. I took a nap right after I was done with it.
Well, you thought you were going to walk in and see me sleeping, didn't you?
I thought all the food you guys ate today, you guys are going to be out for the count. I'm like, they still want to talk to me?
Oh, boy, you bet we do.
Is that the best part of being a chef, when you get a chance to create? Get outside the lines a little bit, maybe?
Actually, the best part about being the chef is when someone takes that something that you created and puts it in your mouth, and there's that smile. There's a certain smile on a person's face when they take a bite of food that you created, and that's where the job satisfaction is. The long hours, all the work that we do and stuff, that's where it all pays off for us.
Stop by here once in a while. You'll see that smile regularly. It's a quick inning. Chef James, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me,
Appreciate
guys.
having you. You bet.
Thank you.
1-0 Toronto, middle of the third. Jim Liberatore, and also from DirecTV, Patrick Crum and Stephen Tucker. Also Joe Zendarczyk down there. My old college roommate, Brian Kosar. I don't know how he snuck in there.
He's there?
Yeah.
Just like you guys when you were kids. You'd sneak in everywhere, jump the fence. He was out on the field, actually.
That guy on the far right, you got to check his ticket stub, make sure he's supposed to be in there.
He's a crasher.
Lou Marson leading off here in the third. Tribe down 1-0.
And a swing and a miss. And I mean, Ricky Romero is setting him down here tonight. 6 strikeouts already with 1 down in the 3rd.
Well, I told you this guy has an excellent changeup, and that's what Brett Cecil was throwing last night that gave these hitters fits for the Indians. And this guy, he's got electric stuff. If he's on his game, he's going to be a tough one.
Luis Valbuena batting 9th tonight, 0 for 3 in last night's game. Takes the first pitch.
When they took him, it was a couple of years ago, and he came to the big leagues originally. He wasn't throwing as hard because he was pitching once every week or whatever. But he got into the pro ball and he lost 4 or 5 miles velocity on his pitches. Well, I'll tell you what, it's returned. This guy does not allow base runners. In 36 innings coming into today, he had less than 1 base runner per innings pitched. Last year it was about 1.6.
The 0-2 pitch, his 40th of the night, is inside. Valbuena drives one to center. Back goes Vernon Wells. 2 down. Every time the Indians homer this year, we raise money for charity, The Gathering Place, helping individuals and families who are dealing with cancer. Great clips, donating $50 per homer. Rick and I are each donating $5 per home run. $840 have been donated so far this year. You can log on to touchedbycancer.org to learn more about The Gathering Place. Mark Grudzielanek struck out his first time up. Lines it to center field, and that's the second hit of the night for the Tribe. And both hits have come with 2 outs.
Yes, indeed. That's not a good way to try and break through to a guy that doesn't give up a lot of hits. But you got to take them when you can get them and hope you can muster something and put it together. I think both hits coming on fastballs. And that one right there, the Grudzielanek, both of them slapped right back up the middle.
Grady Sizemore lines it into left center field. Flying around second base, Grudzielanek will make it to third. Sizemore held to a long single. Fred Lewis, if he doesn't cut that off, the Indians tie the game.
Well, and he knew exactly what to do with it. You throw it to second base and keep Grady on first. Keep the force out there at second. Well, with 2 outs, he was going to his left was Lewis. Grady put a nice swing on that ball. Down and away, stayed on it beautifully. So back-to-back singles. But as you mentioned, it started with 2 outs, so they're going to have to do it. But I guess no big deal because they've been doing it all year when it comes to 2-out base hits. About 50% of their runs have scored with 2 outs.
Shin-Soo Choo looks at a ball in the dirt, and that's going to allow Sizemore to get into scoring position.
That's good. That's a heads-up play.
I think that ball might have hit Choo in the face on the ricochet. In any event, the wild pitch has Grady at second base.
Well, he has 8 wild pitches on the year.
Oh, hit him right in the side of the helmet.
It sure did. If that ball gets out of there, you never know. Maybe from third base could have scored. But that's okay. There's an extra run there should they be able to get a hit.
Romero delivers, and it's down low, 2-0. You talked about the runs with 2 outs. On this homestand, Rick, almost 50% of their hits have come with 2 outs. 18 hits on the homestand with 2 outs, 20 with less than 2 outs. And Choo steps away before the 2-0 pitch is made by Ricky Romero.
Had a little play on over there at third base.
But Choo found it right into the dirt.
You know, we see the Angels try that a lot of times on that first pitch when a man gets to third base. that guy going down the line, you'll put a sign on it, and that catcher automatically comes up to throw.
Especially
and
with
it
a
works
left-handed
when you
hitter.
have the left-handed hitter at the plate. It's an easy pathway for you.
2-1 pitch. And a strike called. Chu doesn't like it, neither does the hometown faithful.
Well, that's not a strike.
No,
Jake threw one that was a lot better than that in the first inning. Never was called on a 3-2 pitch or a 2-2 pitch.
Now the 2-2. Into right center field, a base hit. Indians tie it on Grudzielanic's run and take the lead as Sizemore crosses home. Shin-Soo Choo with RBIs number 17 and 18 on the year. 2-1 Tribe.
Well, the wild pitch certainly pays dividends now. 3 straight singles. And Chu picked on a breaking ball. Man, and if I'm Romero, I'd throw the same pitch I threw the pitch before that he got help with, down in the strike zone. This one he left up. Chu jumps all over, gets a base hit. Indians take a 2-1 lead. RBI 17 and 18 for Chu.
And that brings up Austin Kearns. Snap throw to first, and Chu able to just scamper back in time. In the dirt, Buck blocks it, but Chu running for second, and he's in there safely.
That's a heads-up play by Chu.
You have said that even with some of his missteps on the base path this year, he's a good base runner.
Yes, he is. I'll tell you what, sometimes he gets maybe a little too aggressive, but you can always teach somebody that's too aggressive to back off. You can't teach anybody that's not aggressive enough to speed it up. And Chu, I love the way he runs the bases, man. He's always thinking the next base. Let me go to the next base ahead. To me, he's the best base runner on this team. Although at times he does have to be reeled in. That was a heads-up play right there for him to get in the scoring position.
Swung on and missed. Two-1 Cleveland here, bottom of the third. Austin Kearns trying to make it 4 straight hits in the inning. Two balls, 2 strikes. Ricky Romero retired the first 2 to start the frame. But Grudzielanik, Sizemore, and Chu with back-to-back-to-back singles. With a wild pitch sprinkled in between, and the Indians have a 2-1 lead. There was Mark Grudzielanik, who took over the leadoff spot tonight with his Drupal Cabrera on the mend. The 2-2 delivery is popped out of play. As Drupal Cabrera, and Rick noticed it right away on a ground ball last night, didn't get down the line very well, and he suffered a slight quad injury. They're going to keep him out tonight. Tomorrow's a 12 o'clock start, so they'll keep him out tomorrow as well, and then hope that he's ready to go by Friday with an off day on Thursday.
You know, I'm not so sure that it didn't even happen before then. It may have happened before yesterday.
You're right, because he didn't get out in the box very well either.
No, he didn't. He just wasn't the same. So it may have happened maybe before that. But he'll miss today, tomorrow. You know, with the off day, give him a little extra rest, and hopefully he'll be ready to go Friday against Detroit. We'll have to wait and see. But you can't keep that guy out of the lineup for too long.
Kearns lays off, and it's a full count. Are you seeing anything different here second time through?
That curveball, he's not throwing for strikes. The first time through now. I mean, he's trying to get guys to chase that curveball. They're not biting.
He's had to make 20
that
pitches.
Fastball, they hit 2 fastballs on him, and back-to-back when he had Gruzelanek and Sizemore after he had 2 outs. Chu hit a hanging breaking ball. His curveball hasn't been effective for him right now.
Payoff pitch to Kearns. There's slow tapper towards third, and it stays foul. It's not unusual for a lineup after they see a pitcher one time through to make some adjustments, and could be a different story, but this is pretty drastic when he strikes out 6 of the first 9 and then 3 straight hits and you score 2 runs.
Well, a lot of it has to do with location too. Locating it, the ball. If you look at the ball Grady hit, he stayed on and went the other way. It was elevated a little bit. The fastball Gruzelanek got, and then the hanging ball, breaking ball that Chu hit. They were all pretty much middle of the plate.
Good hitters have to take advantage of those mistakes.
They certainly do.
And the payoff pitch. Low, ball 4. So 4 straight Indians have reached after 2 out here in the third. And with 2 on base, Johnny Peralta will be the batter.
That's the first walk of the night. So a good way to remain patient, take your base, and let the next guy do it.
And a breaking ball for a strike. Ricky Romero ready. And he missed down low. Johnny Peralta now in his last 11 games with a .342 batting average. 5 extra base hits. 4 runs batted in. 1-1 pitch. And now Peralta will have to fight from behind, down 1-2. This will be pitch number 60 now on the night for Ricky Romero. And Peralta shoots it down the right field line. Around third, Chu will score. Austin Kearns coming home. Here's the throw, and Kearns is safe at the plate. Johnny Peralta delivers a 2-out, 2-run double. And the Indians have come back with 4 consecutive 2-out runs here in the third.
Well, this is a thing of beauty here. Our McDonald's, I'm loving it. Look at Johnny stay right on the baseball. Didn't try to do much with it. Almost like these guys are sitting back looking for that changeup. He went the other way with it. Kearns just gets in before the tag. So the 2-out hitting continues. That is their 4th hit and their 5th straight base runner with 2 outs.
Remember what we talked about on our pregame show about baseball? Expect the unexpected. Ricky Romero strikes out 6 out of the first 9. And now the Indians get 5 consecutive hitters aboard and score 4 runs after 2 were out here in the third inning. And now Travis Hafner gets a chance to keep it going. He singled up the middle. His first time up. The only Indian first time through the order to reach. Trying to send one up the gut. Kicks off the heel. And Hafner beats it out. be an interesting scoring call. He had to go a long way up the middle to try to get to it, and they will give him a base hit. 5 hits in the inning, and the 9th man to bat here in the 3rd is Russell Branyan. Indians at the corners with 2 away.
Well, that ball got inside a little bit on Hafner, and you'll see that it just comes up and hits him in the heel of the glove. Should he have made the play? Probably yes. But you are moving to your right. He doesn't field it cleanly, so Hafner is clearly going to beat it out.
Russell Branyan pops it up on the first pitch, and Lyle Overbay at first base makes the catch. The Indians bat around here in the 3rd and score 4 times to take a 4-1 lead. Four-1, Indians on top now as we move to the 4th inning. Alex Gonzalez will lead off for Toronto. And Jake Westbrook has been handed a 3-run lead. His 56th pitch of the night is low for ball 1. Jake set him down 1-2-3 in the 3rd on just 12 pitches. And he's missed with the first 2 to Gonzalez. Now it's 3-0. This right here is an example of what Westbrook talked to us earlier in the year about.
Yeah, come right back out after they give you 4 straight.
Where he said there are times where he knows what he wants to do. He tries to execute it, but for whatever reason, the ball doesn't go where he wants it to, and that's a product of being out so long and just not having those mechanics exactly where they need to be.
You know, that could be, or, you know, it ends up getting to the point where you think you're starting to aim it.
Jose Bautista singled to lead off the 2nd inning. And a pitch down low for ball 1.
So 5 straight. But that's something that he's going to have to rectify. He's going to have to get together and get a feel for mechanically where he can get it back. He can't let it get away, especially after, you know, a team comes back and scores your runs.
And the Blue Jays come right back with a monster 2-run homer from Jose Bautista, his 6th home run on the year. And the Indians lead cut to 1. It's now 4-3.
Well, that was the first strike he threw in the inning. He had 5 straight balls. I'm surprised that Bautista even swung at it. To be honest with you, sometimes you think, okay, let's make him take one or throw a strike. Boy, not him.
Not these Blue Jays.
No, he jumped all over it. Okay, you're going to see a fastball. There it is, a flat, a sinker that just stays on the same plane. It stays up, and he just gives it a ride.
John Buck lined to left his first time up. One ball, one strike. And now Westbrook ahead in the count, 1-2. Swung out and missed, and that's the second strikeout for Jake Westbrook. One down here in the fourth. Travis Snider bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up. Down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Kearns digs it out, but not before Travis Snider is into second base with a double, his third extra base hit in the series.
His sixth double. So he's got 10. When you look at Snider, he's got 10 extra base hits out of his 14 hits. That one stayed fair inside the line. That is the tying run now in scoring position with one out.
Back to the top of the order, Fred Lewis. He has singled, walked, and scored a run.
I want to send along some birthday wishes tonight to Pat Karlovic from Warren, Ohio. We wish her a happy birthday every year. She is the mother of Matt Karlovic, who runs our elevator here at Progressive Field. So, Pat, happy birthday to you.
Down too low, a ball and a strike. We might have to have her come down here and rein in Matt a little bit.
Well, yeah. He's starting to shut the elevator door on some of our patrons and laughing after he does it.
1-1 pitch, fouled away. Travis Snider tying run and scoring position with one out here in the fourth. And again, it's fouled almost into the same spot. That time he was looking in for the Mad Dog.
That's Chris Madden, boy. Watch your forehead, Chris. It's coming at you. There he is. He says, yeah, no problem. He's got it in check.
He can make himself small behind that camera when he needs to.
That's the cup check.
The 1-2 to Lewis. And the count evens up. It just looks like Jake is searching for it tonight.
He is. He's thrown 71 pitches already, 39 strikes, 32 balls. So, you know, that's not his game. He's normally a strike machine. He doesn't miss this much.
He strikes him out. Third punch out for Westbrook. 2 down here in the fourth. Let's take a look at yesterday's great clip of the game, brought to you by Great Clips. Aaron Hill bidding for another hit last night, but Grady Sizemore will have none of it. Relax. You're at Great Clips. Say what you want about Sizemore's offensive struggles early in the season. He has been dynamite defensively. So the good news, I suppose, Rick, if you want to look at that, there's nothing physically wrong. It's not a problem where he's still being bothered by an injury from a year ago.
True. That's true.
Just a matter of getting the timing back and coming around, and he was a key guy in that 4-run top half or bottom half of the third. Ground ball to short. Luis Valbuena. Pulled him off the bag, and they don't get him. Brandon tried to swipe the tag down, but the error will keep the inning alive.
Well, that's the 15th error by the Indians, and let's hope it doesn't jump back and bite them. That's just a routine play at short. But Valbuena filling in for Cabrera tonight, and a throw offline. It breaks Brandon off the bag, and he tries to sweep the tag down to get him, and he doesn't do it. See that? He missed him. So that's just a mistake. Let's hope Jake can pick his defense up here.
First and third, 2 down. Adam Lind 0 for 2. Looks at a ball down low.
Indians already, 15 unearned runs this year, which was tied for the most.
Fouled out of play. Well, that was something that Manny Acta talked about during spring training. They had to tighten up their defense, especially knowing that going into the season you were going to have some young starters and some inexperience. You got Jake Westbrook coming back from an injury. He said we can't afford to give extra outs. We've got to catch the ball and make the sure outs. Right back.
Well, that's any team. At this level, when you give teams, especially teams that are swinging the bats pretty well, extra outs, they find a way to come back and hurt you and take you out of the game. And so far, the errors that the Indians have made this year, that's exactly what has happened to them. So I said 15. It's 16 unearned runs, so hopefully Jake can get out of this.
Activity in the Indians bullpen as Jamie Wright is loosening. Missed outside with a 1-2. Adam Lind trying to make the Indians pay for that error. Westbrook trying to work his way out of it. And now the count goes full. Aaron Hill, the runner at first, will be off with his 3-2 pitch. Travis Snider, the go-ahead runner at third base. The tying run at third base. And the 3-2 is ball 4. They're loaded. So with 2 down, the Blue Jays will send their 8th man to the plate this inning, and it will be Vernon Wells, but not before Tim Belcher pays a visit to Jake Westbrook to try and sort things out here.
Yeah, they're trying to get it done now with 2 outs as well. The Indians did it in the bottom half of the third. Just trying to settle him down now. I mean, Jake, he's lost it. He walked the leadoff man in this inning on 4 straight pitches, and then he fell behind in that 6th pitch. Bautista hit the 2-run homer. Next thing you know, they're down 1. He got an out. Then there's a double. He got a strikeout, and now the error is prolonged the inning. And then he ended up walking somebody. So right now he has got to pull it together as he can, or if he can, to get through this 4th inning.
$80 pitches on the night for Jake. And he'll have to try and retire Vernon Wells, who drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the first. Wells struck out his last time up. He wouldn't chase that one 1-1. Vernon Wells, just the 4th Blue Jay in club history to reach the 200 homer mark.
He's in pretty good company there.
Yeah, he's only 2 homers shy of George Bell.
Right.
Third place on the all-time club list. He passed.
Delgado's number 1, right?
Yes, he is. He's got over 1,000 homers.
1,000 homers.
Excuse me.
You got ribbies?
Yes, 1,000 ribbies. He missed inside with that pitch. Yeah, he's second all-time in RBIs, but he's got a long way to go to catch Delgado. '30th pitch of this inning for Jake Westbrook. And it's ball 4. We are tied at 4.
He walked in a run. That's amazing. I want to see what Manny does here. You got to go get him.
Back-to-back walks for Westbrook, who just doesn't have it tonight. And Jamie Wright will be coming into a jam as Jake Westbrook will depart after 3 2/3 innings here tonight. We are tied at 4. Jays have them loaded when we come back. This year, 1 up, 1 down, 4.91 ERA. He has walked 6, struck out 3 in 11 innings of work. Your call of the bullpen brought to you by AT&T, a better 3G experience.
Well, in the last couple appearances, Wright has come in. He's had to get out of situations to pick up Rafael Perez, who they had bases loaded a couple of times for him, and he's been able to do that. This time he only needs the 1 out. Jake Westbrook just could not finish it. They finally get some runs. They put 4 on the board. He comes right back and proceeds to give up 3 and leaves with the bases loaded. So not a good night for Jake. He didn't look like the normal Jake Westbrook. There's got to be something wrong with him.
Or it's just one of those nights.
Well,
let's hope.
It could be. It could be. I hope that's
because
all.
After what he's gone through coming back, I hope there's
right. I hope that's all
wrong.
It is. You're right.
Well, this guy's done a terrific job in some tough spots. And the Blue Jays have had a tough time in these situations. Just one
bases
for 17.
Loaded. You're right. Now that you mention it, they have been terrible with the bases loaded. And the Indians have been outstanding when it comes to their bullpen, allowing inherited runners to score just 4 of 53.
But Jamie Wright's margin of error is shrinking. The 2-0 pitch to Lyle Overbay. And a called strike. That was huge. Two-one delivery. 3 balls and a strike. Well, when you're a pitcher struggling, and you got a hitter up there who's struggling, who has the advantage in this scenario?
He's got to throw a strike. As a hitter, you look fastball down the middle.
Popped him up, foul, out of play.
He's coming in out of the bullpen. He's not going to throw anything. He's having a tough time throwing strikes to begin with. He's got to throw whatever pitch he can for a strike. You're not going to want to walk him in because Westbrook just did. So you got to look for another fastball. If you're the hitter, it's pretty simple. I mean, there's not much to it. He comes at you, either you get him or he gets you. That's what it's all about. Keep it simple.
Payoff pitch, runners go, and it's strike 3 called. Jamie Wright gets out of the jam. Jays leave him loaded, but they come back with a 3 spot to tie the game at 4. Four our score as we start the bottom of the 4th inning. And Lou Marson on 1 pitch grounds out to shortstop. Well, some sad news for baseball fans all across America and across the world, as Ernie Harwell, the longtime voice of the Detroit Tigers, after a year-long battle with cancer, has passed away at the age of 92.
Boy, oh boy, that's too bad. He was one of the nicest men you would ever meet, and one terrific radio broadcaster, wasn't he?
He was a true gentleman.
Yes, he was.
No question about it. Valbuena takes a pitch outside.
Not many guys could go walk around the ballpark, whether it's up in the press box or down in the field to the players, and remember everybody's first name and go out and carry on a conversation. You act like you've known them for years.
When I first started doing games, I met Ernie Harwell, and I was absolutely nobody, but he made me feel right at home the first 5 minutes I talked to him.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. He had that kind of way about him. A Southern gentleman. And not to mention a great play-by-play announcer. 3-1 pitch. Hammered down the right side, but just foul. You know the famous Bobby Thompson home run, the shot heard around the world.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers Russ Hodges' call because it was recorded by a fan that day, and it's been replayed millions of times since then. Ernie Harwell did the television broadcast that day. And he said the only person listening to my call was my wife. Luis Valbuena draws a walk. And, of course, back then they didn't have video recording devices. I mean, that was 1951?
And how many, 51, right. And how many TVs were there around back then?
Good point. But that's what I remember him telling the story one day. It's like, that call, the minute I made my call, it went out into outer space. And the only person who heard it was Mrs. Harwell, he said. Throw to first. Valbuena is going to get up and make his way down to second. So the go-ahead run into scoring position with one out. That ball hit Valbuena.
Yeah, that's a bad throw by Romero. He the quick step off and flick over there, but it was a bad throw. His short hops have been overbait, couldn't do anything. The throw was down under the legs. So alertly, Sandy told him, he said, hey, get up. Let's go. Find the ball. Always got to know where the ball is when you're a base runner.
So Grudzielanek now with a runner in scoring position. Singled his last time up. Ball's in the dirt, gets away from Buck, and down to third goes Valbuena.
How about that? That's 3 wild pitches already. That's 10 on the year. And that's in 39 innings. And Buck went after that one. You know what? He didn't try and block that one. He sort of, watch the way he goes at it. See, he pushed it down. If you know it's a curveball, maybe he was crossed up. You don't catch a curveball like that.
I think you're right.
You've either got to be crossed up or you go to block it, because he knows what fingers he's put down and what pitch he's looking for. And then he goes out to talk to Romero. They had to be crossed up. I'm sorry, with the runner on second base. But look at that. That's not even close.
The 1-0 pitch. Tapper coming home. Valbuena, he's going to score. And the Indians take the lead. Grudzielanek safe at first. And it's a 5-4 Indians lead.
Yeah, they just gave the Indians a run right there. Romero did.
They give him a base hit.
Well, a one-out walk. And then his error that gets him to second base. His wild pitch that gets him to third base. And a high hopper off the plate, where Grudzielanek will get credited with a hit and drives in a run. And the Indians come right back and lead at 5-4.
That was all courtesy of Ricky Romero.
Yes, it was. Thank you very much.
Grady Sizemore sends one up the middle. That's a base hit. Grudzielanek going to hit second, burn for third, and Wells will make no throw. Indians at the corners, and Ricky Romero having a tough time here tonight.
I like what Grudzielanek did, man. He challenged Wells. He got to second base and kept going. That's just a good read and a good feel as a base runner. It's so much better when you can get to third base. See, there's the ball, not hit all that hard, but here he comes. And now this is a veteran. Now this is a guy with right now average speed at 40 years old, but he's able to make it without a throw. And Wells is a good, he's a Gold Glove center fielder with a good arm. So now the Indians have runners at the corners and a chance to add to it.
And Shin-Soo Choo drove in a pair in the third is the batter. You've got activity in that Blue Jays bullpen. Ricky Romero came into this game tonight with 31 strikeouts and 36 innings pitched, a .225 ERA. Struck out 6 of 9.
Yeah, he was.
To start the game. And since then, the Indians have had their way.
Well, 21 hits in his 36 innings. Right now, the Indians have 8 hits, and they're only in the bottom half of the fourth. to a team that hasn't been hitting. So there's Sean Kemp getting loose on the Jays bullpen. Well, you said this is a weird game. Strange things happen.
Chu with a check swing foul. The thing about baseball, and I don't know why it's like this, other than it's maddening the way life can be sometimes. Just when you think you know what's going to happen, you have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. You think you're getting a 3-1 fastball, and it's a changeup, and you're swinging from your heels.
Isn't that the truth? I guess that's like life. You're exactly right. The minute you think you know what's going on, you're in trouble.
Oh, he had Grady leaning, and he's punched out.
He gave him his A move that time. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
That's a huge out for Ricky Romero, who is really teetering on the brink here.
Well, he gave him the A move. Grady was off, and he said, oh, my goodness, I got to get back. He doesn't. He's out. Definitely out before he can get back to the bag. That's embarrassing right there. Oh, my goodness, that's almost 11.
Wow. What a block by John Buck. He just threw the chest protector all out over that one.
I mean, there can't be. Well, we saw Jake Westbrook in his first start have 4 wild pitches in a game. He's just saved him his 4th wild pitch of a game. And that saved a run as well.
Indians 6 for 9 with 2 outs at the plate. Chu lays off, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch. Chu with a chopper to second. Aaron Hill will throw him out, and the inning is over. But the Indians regain the lead 5-4 after 4.
By McCafe Frappes. Caramel or mocha blended with a hint of coffee and ice. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By KeyBank. Stop in and start a conversation and unlock your possibilities. And by Panini's. Visit PaninisGrill.com for a list of new locations.
Beautiful evening here in downtown Cleveland as Alex Gonzalez leads off the 5th inning. There's no telling how many twists and turns are ahead in this game. Gonzalez walked and scored in the 4th as the Blue Jays batted around. And at that point, tied the game. But Jamie Wright was able to come on with the bases loaded and 2 down and strike out Lyle Overbay to avoid any further damage. And then the Indians come right back and regain the lead. Missed inside. 2 balls and a strike. Neither manager wants to have to burn through his bullpen with a 12 o'clock game tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. It was a bit quick last night, though. Not much use. I mean, it was a fast ball game. They'll come back tonight. This has a tendency to be a weird one from what we've seen so far.
Popped him up. Grudzalonic backpedaling. And the second baseman has it for out number 1. Let's take a look at our GMC 5-star league leaders. Home runs. The Blue Jays have been prolific so far this year. With the long ball, that's been the staple in their offense. 42 dingers atop the league.
Yes, indeed. And they have 4 in this series.
Your league's 5-star home run leaders brought to you by the GMC Sierra. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. Here's the 0-1. Checked on a ball that was a little bit high. 1-1 to count. Oh, that one come up and got him on the hand.
Sure did.
Bautista down in a heap, and here comes Cito Gaston and the Blue Jays trainer out to check him.
Well, there's no way he could get out of the way. It didn't look like it. That ball was bearing in on him, and I don't know if he looked like he still had his hand on the bat. Well, you just never know about that because there's so many little bones in the hand. Going to take that glove off, and the trainer's going to take a peek at it, and we'll see. He looks like he's okay. He's not really wincing or shaking anything right now. See, he's trying to get out of the way and just took his hand off the bat, and it's that left hand as he goes down hard. Boy, you talk about trying to get out of the way. That's a scary thing when you're a hitter. See that ball coming in and it keeps bearing in on you. He'll be all right.
So Bautista and the Blue Jays breathe a sigh of relief as he heads to first with 1 out in the 5th. John Buck 0 for 2 steps to the plate. Runner goes. Bautista taking off on the first pitch. Uncontested stolen base.
Well, that's what you do, man. You get drilled with a pitch. You say, okay, you want to hit me? Steal second, steal third, and try and score. That's the right move. But, I mean, it was uncontested. Look at Marson. He couldn't even do anything. He says, there's no chance do I have to throw this guy out. Second stolen base on the evening by the Jays.
And a called strike over the inside corner. John Buck not really in agreement with Tom Hallion. Good stop by Marson. Cito Gaston was quick to point out that not only does John Buck deserve credit for how well the Blue Jays pitching staff has thrown the ball so far this year, but also backup catcher Jose Molina. He said the two of those guys have really thrown themselves into the scouting reports and working with the pitchers and going over how we're going to approach each hitter and how we want to attack them.
Well, as you know, that's the primary reason of a catcher is to handle the pitching staff. Well, I mean, from square one, any offense you give your manager or your team is a bonus. Your job every day is to handle that starter the best of your capabilities and get to know these guys, like a brother. So you know their heads. You can call their games and what they have, stuff-wise. Very important.
And to that end, Buck's been a big bonus with 5 homers and 14 ribbies.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable.
Right turns, but nothing doing at second.
Well, we've seen Buck play enough over in Kansas City. He was a part of that Carlos Beltran trade. He was the only part that Kansas City had left. But then they decided they'd lost their 2 catchers, let him go, and he landed in Toronto. And I'll tell you what, he could be a nice bonus for those guys. It's a good defensive catcher.
Lou Marson going to go out and talk to Jamie Wright here. Jose Molina, by contrast, has played in 8 games so far this year and hitting just 182.
Well,
for
he
22.
can catch, though, too.
Yeah.
One of the flying Wallendas. Oh, the Molinas. The catching Molinas.
Jamie Wright's 2-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat to first. Brandon with the flip. 2 down. The tying run to third base. Let's go back to the studios for this in-game update. Al Pulaski has the latest on the Tigers and the Twins as they duel for the top spot in the AL Central.
Hey, Matt, Rick, let's head off to Minnesota now and see how the Tigers and Twins are doing. This one, bottom of the first inning, Jim Thome with Orlando Hudson on second. Drives him in with his double. Twins score 2 in the first. That's the difference. 2-0 Minnesota. Second inning now at Target Field. Back to you.
Boy, all of a sudden Minnesota is just a run-scoring machine in the first inning.
They scored 2 in the first inning in the 3-game series here, all 3 games.
And I don't remember if it was the first inning last night, but it was early. They jumped on the Tigers with a big crooked number early in that game last night. Tying run at third, 2 down, 0-1 pitch. And Travis Snider looks at a ball. He doubled and scored his last time up. They had 4 in the first yesterday. The Minnesota Twins.
Okay, these guys are they come out early. They come when that bell rings. They come out with a right hook right at you.
Snider hammers it down the right field corner, and we are tied at 5 as Bautista scores.
How about this kid? Another double.
Well, Cito Gaston's wish has come true. Snider picking right up where he left off last night when he had a double and a homer. Tonight, 2 doubles. And he delivers
hanging breaking ball.
Run.
That's what it was. Got himself a breaking ball, which will speed his bat up when it's away. He kept his hands back, but give him credit, man. He smoked it down into the right field line. Everything off his bat has been hard in the first 2 games of this series.
Fred Lewis, 1 out of 2, steps in. And now the go-ahead run in scoring position for Toronto. Now left-hander Aaron Laffey beginning to loosen for the Tribe. So neither starter figuring in the decision here tonight. It will be well, I'm assuming Ricky Romero is done. Their bullpen was busy. They might bring him back, though.
I think they will. He's not. They'll let him come back.
Oh, 2 count. Wright deals. And Lewis bloops it foul. Yep, Romero's definitely staying in there. He's got the arm wrapped He'll be ready to come back out, even though his pitch count is climbing, and he has really struggled in the last 2 innings. But he may have just received a boost of adrenaline as the Jays rally back to tie it, and they're 1 hit away from reclaiming the lead. Romero at 78 pitches through the first 4. Now the 0-2. And he bounced it in there. Marson with a block. Snider couldn't get a read, so he holds at second base. "20 pitches this inning for Jamie Wright. It's been one of those nights it doesn't seem to matter who's on the hill. And Jamie Wright's 1-2 pitch. Just missed with it. Indians really play Fred Lewis to slap the ball the other way. Austin Kearns over toward the line and left, and you see Grady Sizemore pulled around toward left center. Huge gap in right center field. And the 2-2 is back to the mound, and a good stop by Jamie Wright. And the inning is over. But the Toronto Blue Jays come right back and tie the game at 5. Well, bottom of the 5th inning ice cream break. Austin Kearns leading off for the Tribe. He walked and scored his last time to the plate. 79 pitches now for Ricky Romero tonight. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Austin Kearns 0 for 4 so far in the series. And he got him. Got him to wave at a breaking ball. And that's 7 strikeouts now for Ricky Romero. This game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Johnny Peralta with a double. Got the Indians ahead 4-1, but back come the Blue Jays on a Jose Bautista homer. And then Travis Snider with an RBI double. And we're all back to even at 5 apiece. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Strike at the knees.
Get a couple guys looking back there that are questioning the strike zone a little bit tonight.
Up too high. Well, the one thing that Tom Hallion did that no umpire ever wants to have to deal with is when you call a borderline pitch a strike one time and then don't call it the next time, or vice versa.
Yeah, you want consistency. Both as a pitcher and a hitter.
Chopper foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bottom of the 5th. And a liner to third right into the glove of Bautista for out number 2.
Well, let's try to fill the house for Our Lady of the Wayside tomorrow when the Indians wrap up this series against the Blue Jays. It starts at 12:05. Every ticket sold. $1 will be donated to the charity. And great seats still remain. Save up to 50% off. That's tomorrow at noon, wrapping up this series with Toronto.
Travis Hafner leans back. He's 2 for 2 with a couple of singles here tonight. And he missed inside. 2 balls, no strikes. '90th pitch of the night right here for Ricky Romero with 2 down, and the base is empty. And a 5-5 tie in the 5th. And the 2-1. Up and in, hit him. And so Hafner goes to first. So each team has had a batter hit tonight.
That goal goes off the padding, doesn't it? He's got that pad up on the elbow.
Double barrel action once again in the Blue Jay bullpen with 2 down and a runner at first. And Russell Brandon 0 for 2, the batter. And a first pitch strike. Brandon lays off. The Blue Jays with a 3-man shift on the right side for Russell. Bautista, third baseman over at short on the left, all by his lonesome. And Brandon trying to go the other way, fouls it out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th. As you see, Camp the right-hander, Lewis the southpaw. Camp had already been loosening earlier in this game.
No, I think, just trying to get Romero through this 5th inning if he can.
And the 1-2. Swung on and missed. 8th strikeout for Ricky Romero. And we are tied at 5 after 5.
So head into your nearest Marks, where you'll find a huge selection and low prices every day.
Tie ball game as we go now to the 6th inning here at Progressive Field. And the Indians go back to the bullpen. Jensen Lewis coming on for the 10th time this year. Inning and a third of work for Jamie Wright tonight, allowing 1 run on 1 hit. Aaron Hill 1 for 3 in the ballgame. Reached on an error his last time up. Laced foul down into that left field corner. Just over the rail into the seats and a souvenir. Cito Gaston's club grabbed the early 1-0 lead in the first. Indians stormed back with 4 in the third. Jays tied it with 3 in the fourth. Indians regained the lead with a run on the bottom of the fourth, and then the Blue Jays tied it in the top of the fifth. 0-2 pitch, and that, I guess, was a little bit outside. That looked like a perfect pitch.
I think Jensen thought he was going to see the right arm go up because it looked like he wanted to stroll around the mound. He goes away. He's thinking, okay, I just made a perfect pitch. Look. But it was not called.
That time he came in, got a little bit more of the plate. Valbuena with the long throw. This time he's on the money. 1 down.
Well, I'll take a break from the busy work week and head right here tomorrow for lunch in 3 innings. You get a ticket for the 12:05 game here against Toronto, plus $10 in food credit, all for just $15. 216-420-HITS.
Adam Lind 0 for 2, the batter here for Toronto. Walked his last time up. Swung on and missed. Didn't look like that changeup had that downward action, but the change of pace was enough to get him to swing through.
Yes, it had enough off of it to where he thought it was a fastball. Committed a little too early on it.
There was the express, and it ran wide. There's that good off-speed pitch, that little movement to it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the 2-2. High and wide. Full count. Vernon Wells waits on deck. Tie game here in the 6th. Payoff pitch. Swung out and missed. That change up again, and he got him. 2 away. Vernon Wells has driven in 2 runs tonight for Toronto without the benefit of a hit. A sac fly in the 1st, a bases loaded walk in the 4th. One ball, no strikes.
This is the guy, you remember when we were in Toronto last year that the crowd really, they started booing him.
They were all over him.
Yes, they were, because, you know, he's their big money guy, the guy they gave the big contract to. Then it was Alex Rios after that, but boy, they were all over him last year when we were there.
Vernon Wells all over himself right now, conking himself on the helmet with the bat because he checked his swing on a pitch that was high. It tipped off the bat. And instead of it being a 2-0 count, Lewis back to even at 1-1. Missing wide with the fastball. Two 2-1 pitch. Bouncer foul. That'll even the count. The 2-2 pitch, and it's low, full count. It's interesting. You would think that the fastball would be the one pitch that would be the easiest one to command. But so many times we'll see pitchers have to go to their secondary stuff to throw strikes.
Well, that does happen, but every starting pitcher, every pitcher should be able to throw that fastball down and away when he has to, if it's 2-0 or 3-1 for a strike.
But tonight for Jensen, the changeup is the one that has worked for the strikes. The fastball can't seem to locate it. And so a 2-out walk to Vernon Wells will bring up Lyle Overbay. Overbay 0 for 2 with a walk. And a first pitch strike to Lyle Overbay. They're telling him he got that fastball over the corner. Tosses one over, but back safely is Vernon Wells. He has one steal on the year. Now, Blue Jays have a guy that they really think is going to be a big part of their future in the minor leagues, Brett Wallace. He's their so-called first baseman of the future as Overbay fouls it away. Last year at AAA in 2 different stints at 293 and 302.
Well, they had serious discussions with trade talk with Lyle Overbay last year with the Diamondbacks in the offseason. Just never panned out. They ended up signing Adam or LaRoche.
Way up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Brett Wallace, the guy I'm talking about, Rick, it was a Cardinals first-round pick in 2008. And he went to the A's in the Matt Holliday trade. And then came to the Blue Jays in exchange for outfielder Michael Taylor this past December. But he's a 6'2", 205-pound left-handed hitter that they really like. Overbay pops out of play, but Cito Gaston said, look, we're not going to give up on Lyle Overbay. Overbay, he's 33 years old. And he's got a good track record. He's a career .279 hitter. So the fact that he's off to a slow start doesn't mean there's any reason to panic. 2 down on the 2-2 pitch.
Well, we talked today. How many hitters were under 200? 23, 24 hitters?
Yeah. Regulars
at this point,
who had at least 60 at bats.
Right.
23 in the big leagues hitting 200 or below.
So you want to talk about a lot of guys. And then there's quite a few between that 220 range, too.
I guarantee you we could probably find another 20. Runner goes on the 3-2 pitch, and it's ball 4. So Lewis got the first 2, and he's walked the next 2. And it's just been one of those games. Doesn't seem like who's on the bump tonight. It's been a struggle. For Lewis, 12 balls and 11 strikes in his 23 pitches thrown. And he'll have to deal with Alex Gonzalez with 2 down. Lewis delivers a called strike. Gonzalez, fly ball left field near the line. Kearns dives, but it's foul. He came up empty. You just hope he's all right. He dove, and he didn't have far to go to reach that wall. Heck of an effort.
Well, that's a tough situation to go down there. We lost sight of him. But that, there's not a whole lot of room, and you go in there head first, you take a chance of hitting that wall with your dome, and you'll be in trouble. Usually guys go feet first. He wouldn't have been able to catch it that way, but can't feel very good. He knows, man, right there. That's
those cinders win every time.
Well, I know. You spit on your hand. You see, okay, where am I cut? You get a few of those rocks stuck in your wrist and your palm. I'll go try and hit.
Runner goes from second to third, and Gonzalez rips it into the left field corner. The Jays take the lead as Wells scores. Overbay into third. He'll be held there. Alex Gonzalez delivers with the 2-out RBI double, 6-5 Toronto. That's just another extra base hit for Toronto. They've been the best in Major League Baseball at piling up the extra base hits.
That's a changeup. That's an 0-2 pitch. I mean, you work hard to get ahead of hitters, and we're starting to say this an awful lot. That's a bad situation. An 0-2 pitch gets hit for a double. He had 2 outs, first 2 hitters out. He walked 2 guys, and now an 0-2 pitch, and now you have a 6-5 ball game.
And now Jose Bautista, who's already homered for the second straight game in this series. Good pitch that time, but he's able to check his swing, and it's 1-1.
Blue wanted help. It was close.
Up high, 2-1. So Lou Marson and Jensen Lewis will share a chat here as they try to figure out a way to get out of this jam now. Popped up foul, and this will find the seats. And that's served the other way foul. Toronto Blue Jays came into tonight's game third in the American League in slugging percentage, trailing only the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. Red Sox took out a little frustration last night, didn't they?
They sure did. Pounded the Angels.
What was the final score? Was it 17-8?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, it was. It's a 1-1 game there in the sixth.
That's pretty typical, isn't it? Usually you see a blowout or a lot of runs scored, and the next night nobody can.
Well, the guys are too tired. The lumbermen do too much work.
And the payoff pitch, and it's ball 4. And Jensen Lewis having a tough time here tonight. He's walked 3 in the inning. Bases loaded, 2 down. Nobody warming in the Tribe pen, so it's up to Lewis here to get John Buck and get out of the jam. Tim Belcher going to go stall for time as that Tribe bullpen will now start to get loose. But Lewis has made 33 pitches here in the sixth, and he had the first 2 men out.
We've seen this before on the road trip. He had one where he felt like he was a starting pitcher through 36 pitches in an inning. You know, he's starting. I don't know. When he first came up, or this year, it came out, it was change up first pitch, strike 1. He was very efficient with his pitches. But the last 2 or 3 times he's been out there, he's been all over the place. He had the 2 out, he walked a guy, walked 2 guys, and then an 0-2 double, then another walk. And I mean, that's not his game. His game is he's got to go after the hitters. He's got to be aggressive.
Well, John Buck, the batter, 0 for 3 tonight. He is lined to left, struck out, and grounded to first.
He had the first 2 outs in this inning on 10 pitches. And so it's taken him 23 to get where he's at.
On the first pitch, Buck grounds to short, and the inning is over. But the Jays regain the lead, 6-5 Toronto, middle of the 6th. It's a 6-5 Toronto lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And Ricky Romero, who was on the ropes, if you equate this to one of those championship fights, looked like they were about ready to step in.
Knock him out in the 3rd inning.
Call it, but he bobbed and weaved his way through. And I'll tell you what really helped him to get out of that 4th inning was picking off Grady Sizemore.
You're right. Sure was. And they easy out. They gave him an out when they had 1st and 3rd. Could have added on. You're exactly right.
Lou Marson 0 for 2, leading off the 6th. Tribe down a run. And Marson with a line drive to right. And it's way over the head of Snider. I don't think he got a good read on that ball as Marson goes into second base with a leadoff double. I mean, I know that ball was hit hard, but his initial route to the ball made you think that he was going to get it, and he really wasn't that close to it.
Well, when you play a guy shallow like that, you better know when that ball spanked. He hit it well. I didn't see his route, but he's going that way. And let's see if we can pick Snider up. No, we're just watching Marson right there, and that ball, he sort of short-armed it, too, after he jumped.
It's like he maybe just misjudged it, huh?
Very well could have.
That's the first time the Indians have had a hit to lead off an inning in this series. And let's see if that'll lead to some good fortune offensively as Luis Valbuena steps in. Jays pinch in at the corners, looking for the bunt. Valbuena pulls it back. And it's low for ball 1. Valbuena does not have a sac bunt on the year. Unable to get the bunt down there. 1-1 the count. Ricky Romero has a 1-run lead, but the Tribe with that tying run at second. Valbuena trying to sacrifice him over to third base on this, the 100th pitch of the night for the Blue Jays left-hander. Pulled it back, was going to swing, took a strike, and now he's down on the count 1-2.
Well, and thought it was high. That's why he didn't take that little butcher boy swing. But, man, you're up there. Your job is to get that man from second to third base, whatever it takes. I don't care what sign the manager puts on. Your job is to get him over. And then he went. Yeah.
They ring him up. Third base umpire Ed Rapuano. Valbuena with a long stare in his direction. And Rapuano snaps something back at Valbuena.
He didn't go.
No, he did
not. I'll tell you what, when you're a young player, you get hosed sometimes. That was a frustrating at bat there. Went to bunt the first one, and then he checked his swing, took it back, and then he checked it again. That's a tough at bat right there to handle.
It's a 9th strikeout, meanwhile, for Ricky Romero.
Now you hope you come on offense, pick me up.
Brett Cecil struck out 10 Indians last night. Bretzelanek with a liner to right. Snider over. This time makes the grab. And Marson has to hold at second, 2 down. Let's go back to the studios right now for another in-game update. Al has the latest on the Tigers and the Twins.
Yes, Matt, and the Tigers coming back here at the top of the 4th inning. Miguel Cabrera in a 2-run game with runners at the corners. Scores the runner from third. That'll even it up at 2 at the top of the 5th now. 2-2 ball game, Tigers and Twins.
All right, thanks, Al.
The RBI machine, isn't he?
Cito Gaston is going to stick with Ricky Romero. He wanted to go out and check on him after he'd gone over 100 pitches.
Well, he already has 3 wild pitches. He's probably saying, hey, look, don't throw that curveball in the dirt and back to the screen. We got Lou Marson on second base, who has not moved after the leadoff double.
So it will be up to Grady Sizemore, who is 2 for 3 against Romero. He has singled off the Jays left-hander in each of his last 2 at-bats. And that's ball 1 from Romero. And Grady pops it up. The shortstop, Gonzalez, makes the catch. And the leadoff double does no damage. We've played 6. It's Toronto 6, Cleveland 5.
Find out more of what's possible at att.com. AT&T, rethink possible. By the Sierra from GMC. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. And by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Wendy's.
Beautiful night downtown Cleveland. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you here. 7th inning. 6-5 Blue Jays on top. 4th Indians pitcher to work tonight is left-hander Rafael Perez.
Well, Perez has he struggled to throw strikes, at least falling behind hitters in his last few outings. Hitters have been in some favorable counts. We'll see if Rafi can get out there tonight maybe and get ahead of hitters and maybe expand their strike zones. Coming on, he's going to face the left-hander Snider. It'll be 9-1-2, Lewis and then Hill. And Snider has had he's had a good series. 3 doubles, a home run. He has had a terrific series for Toronto.
Ouch. Wow, did that smoke him?
Yeah, it did.
And let's see if he's all right.
Ouch.
Can't imagine he is.
Shoes, man. Holy smokes. He got after that first pitch, and I mean, that hit him in the foot, I believe. So down around the ankle area. Yeah, right up there, man. Right on the top of the part of his shoe. Holy cow. You could tell after he went after, that thing deflected out towards the third baseline. He's going to come back and just ended up giving up on it. It had to hurt. It's just reaction here. Ouch. I mean, it hit him flush on the right foot.
Oh, man, that sounded like it hurt.
Yeah, it did. There's no question about it. Now it's just a matter of getting some feeling back in it. Because there's no padding in those shoes. They're light. He'll get a few warm-ups and see.
It almost looked like he had him above the shoe, almost like towards the ankle.
Yeah, it could have. It very well could have. It was down in that area. Their pants are so long, it's hard to tell.
Could use a tailor. He appears to be all right.
Ouch. Well, wherever that got him, it hurt. But he will remain in the game. And Snider continued his great series. Now he's 3 for 4.
So with the leadoff man aboard and Toronto leading it by a run, let's see how Cito Gaston plays this with Fred Lewis at the plate. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Lewis squared. Didn't look like he really had his heart in it, though.
Well, coming over from the National League, never seeing him play before, I don't know. So there's some hitters that don't like to square around when they bunt, and this guy's a speedster, so he may be a good bunter anyway, even if it's a sacrifice situation. Or if they put the sacrifice on. Some guys just don't square around.
Kenny Lofton was never a guy who really squared and sacrificed.
He's sort of like he was halfway, in between, because he wasn't sure which way he wanted to go with it.
And he never wanted to really give himself up. He wanted to try to beat it up for a hit every time.
Yes, he did.
Bounced in there.
Boy,
Good
caught
stop
a break
by Marson.
It ended up hitting it. It hit Lewis.
If it doesn't hit him, it might have rolled far enough away
to get his.
Snider could have taken off.
It either hit there or the ump. Yeah.
Oh, hit the knob of his bat.
It sure did.
The 1-1. Lewis showing no sign of a bunt that time.
Well, I mean, they have a 1-run lead, so he can choose. I don't want to give up an out because then he may let them go ahead and try and find that hole.
Aaron Laffey, who had been loosening earlier in the game, popped up, foul. This will find the seats. 2-2. In the dirt, another good stop by Lou Marson. And the count now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Boy, when you're catching now and Perez is on the mound and you call for that slider, you better look for it in the dirt. And if it stays above air or it reaches your glove, it's a bonus. You look for it in the dirt.
Payoff pitch. Solidly hit to center. Look out. All the way to the fence. Flying around second is Travis Snider. He's going to be waved home. And the Blue Jays now lead it 7-5 as Fred Lewis delivers his second hit of the night, driving home his 6th run of the year. And the struggles of Rafael Perez continue here tonight.
4th double. It looked like a breaking ball to me. No, I'm sorry. That was a fastball. 91 miles an hour out over the plate that he just drops a bat head on. And he plugged the gap in right center field. So it scores Snider from first easily. And they have a 2-run lead now, 7-5. And here comes Manny Acta. I think he's going to go get him. He's seen enough.
with the 2 hits here tonight, Rafael Perez has now surrendered 15 hits in 32 at-bats. And there is the move made by Manny Acta. So we've got a timeout here in the 7th inning with the Jays on top 7-5. They've got a runner at second base with nobody out here in the 7th, and now Aaron Laffey coming on for the 12th time this year. No wins or losses, ERA 3.21. He's walked 4, struck out 4 in 14 innings of work. Fred Lewis delivering the RBI double off Rafael Perez. I don't know what the Indians' next option with Rafael Perez is. I mean, you know, last year was obviously a disappointing season for him. He went to winter ball, worked as a starter, seemed like he had the kinks worked out, came to spring training, the reports were all good, he was throwing the ball, looked like the slider was back, but it hasn't translated here in the regular season.
He's scuffling. He is really scuffling. Well, you mentioned he's coming in, he didn't get an out today. And in 7 1/3 innings, he's given up 15 hits, and he's walked 6. So there's 21 base runners. There's 3 runners an inning.
Aaron Hill, 1 for 4 tonight. Time was called before the pitch was made.
Well, usually, and I don't care what team you are, it's never really a good sign when your starter doesn't give you at least, and I mean at least 5 innings. Tonight, Westbrook goes out and goes 3 2/3, and you got to go to that bullpen. A lot of times, that is not a good sign. And I don't care what team you play with. When you got to go over there and bring in that bullpen, and you got to eat up so many innings, something's going to give.
Bouncing ball to third. Peralta will sling it over, and that's out number 1. Again, we go to the studios for this in-game update. Al Pawlowski has the latest on the Royals and the White Sox.
Matt, Rick, let's head to the south side of Chicago. KC up 2-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Juan Pierre stealing 3rd. Throw goes wide by Jason Kendall. That'll score the run as Pierre comes home. 2-1 now. Kansas City leads Chicago 6th inning.
All right, thanks, Al. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, the Twins continue to lead the... you know what? I don't think that score was updated out there on the big board, was it?
No.
Anyway, the point I was going to make about Minnesota was the story about Joe Mauer. He's missed his 4th straight game.
Did you see that kid that played here, Ramos?
He kept on hitting.
Had 3 more hits yesterday.
Unbelievable. An MRI on Joe Mauer's left heel revealed no structural damage, so they're breathing a huge sigh of relief in the Twin Cities about that. But still no word on when he may return to the lineup for Minnesota.
Well, Ramos keeps saying that he won't have to.
That's a good point. The test revealed a deep, soft tissue bruise for Joe Mauer. Popped foul, out of play. Meanwhile, the New York Yankees are dealing with some injury situations. Jorge Posada has a calf strain, and he may be headed to the DL. As of right now, their manager, Joe Girardi, says we're not planning on putting him on the disabled list. We're going to hope to see how he responds to treatment. And Mariano Rivera, who was not available to close last night because of some stiffness, threw a bullpen today, and he appears to be just fine. Every year you keep waiting for Mariano Rivera to show signs of slowing down or maybe showing signs of being human. And he keeps fooling everybody. The 1-2 pitch coming up here to Adam Lynn. Swung on and missed. Laffey gets the strikeout, 2 down.
Well, it'll be the first Kids Fun Day of the season. That'll be Sunday when the Tigers are in town. We're going to wrap up that series. It all starts on Sunday and at 11 o'clock with special kids activities on the plaza. It's also Mother's Day. All women and kids 12 and under will receive Slider slippers. Call 216-420-HITS or visit Indians.com.
Indians will intentionally pass on Vernon Wells.
This is going to be the 9th walk today by the Tribe staff. So, you know, they got 9 hits. So you got 18 base runners, and that's why Toronto has left 11 stranded. They've had opportunities, and they have 7 on the board.
So Lyle Overbay will set up a lefty-lefty matchup here. Overbay 0 for 2, but he has walked twice tonight. Last weekend in Toronto, there was a charity function to raise money for Hall of Famer Ferguson Jenkins Charitable Foundation. Harmon Killebrew was on hand, Gaylord Perry, Reggie Jackson, and our pal Bob Feller.
Our own Bob Feller, yeah.
We're all in attendance. And at one point, they were all gathered together in a suite, and a reporter was interviewing Reggie Jackson, who's rarely at a loss for words. And he was talking about today's players and some of the stats they put up, talking about some of the sluggers of recent years. And then he got to talking about Joel Zumaya, who he had just seen recently. He said, that guy, he can throw it up there around 100 miles an hour, to which Bob Feller quickly quipped, that was my changeup. And the whole room broke out in laughter.
Did you really? That was my change. Well, I'll tell you what. No, it wasn't, because if you can throw that hard, not many guys can hit triple digits or get near it on a gun, and he is one of them.
2 on, 2 out, 2-0 pitch.
Good pitch.
And a strike called. Laffey ready with a 2-1. And he missed 3 balls and a strike. Alex Gonzalez hoping for a chance if Overbait keeps the inning alive. And on the 3-1 pitch, he smashes one high and slicing foul out of play. Payoff pitch, runners go. Pitch line to left field, a base hit. Coming around third. Lewis will score. Kearns throw to the plate not nearly in time. And it's now an 8-5 Toronto lead. So Rafael Perez charged with 2 runs tonight.
Right, that goes on his account. Well, you fall behind, you let that left-hander, you give him something, you have to throw a strike. And he takes you the other way.
So Aaron Laffey, after retiring the first 2 hitters he faced, intentionally walking Vernon Wells and then giving up the single to Lyle Overbay.
Well, that's the 4th straight inning that Toronto has come in to score. They scored in the first, and then that 4th, 5th, 6th, and now the 7th. And they've just been continued to add on. Another wild pitch.
This one goes all the way back to the screen. And the runners move up to second and third. Pretty safe bet that a video copy of this game will not be headed to Cooperstown.
No, there's a lot of walks. It's getting a little sloppy.
1-0 pitch. Down too low. Oh, I'm sorry, called that a strike. So 10 balls, 8 strikes for Laffey, and that's been a problem for every Indians pitcher who's worked in here tonight. 1-1. When's that next full moon?
27th.
So can't blame it on the lunar schedule. 2-1 delivery. In the air, left center. Look out. This is trouble. Sizemore runs it down in the gap to save a couple of more runs. Terrific grab by Grady. But Toronto gets 2 more, and they now lead at 8-5. Stretch time in Cleveland. Their Chagrin Falls Panini's location will be opening soon, and you can log on to paninisgrill.com to get a listing of all their locations. Sean Camp coming on now for Toronto. Amazingly, as poorly as Ricky Romero pitched in the third and fourth innings tonight, he rebounded nicely. And he's in line for the victory.
Yes, he is.
If the Jays bullpen can hang on and hold the fort.
Sean Camp with a couple of holds this year. Left-handers hitting 211, right-handers 258 off him.
Popped in the air. Deep left field. In the corner. Lewis ran out of real estate, and it's a fair ball. And into second base with a leadoff double is Shin-Soo Choo.
There's that one of those balls we were talking about as you're edging into the corner. He had to sort of let up and go, and that ball ended up staying fair. Slicing down the line into the corner. That pitch might have been off the plate a little bit, but Choo did a nice job to stay with it, stay on it. And he got it working down the line. There he comes. There's Lewis. He gives up on it, and look at that. It's about a foot fair.
So Austin Kearns 0 for 2 tonight. Hits are even at 10 apiece. And a fastball strike. Up high. The difference, I guess, in this game, the walks have been not necessarily crippling, because a lot of those walks early in the game didn't come around and score, but they add up, and it just puts more pressure, more pitches.
Yeah, it runs through your pitching staff. But the amazing thing of it is, when you look at it, the Indians have walked, what did I say, 9, and only 2 Toronto guys have scored. The Jays walked 2, both come around to score for the Indians. So they've taken advantage of it.
Hector Ambrose working in that Indians bullpen, probably coming on next. The 1-2. Kearns fouls it back. Indians had a leadoff double last inning and did not score. Camp's 1-2 pitch. Kearns strikes out again. He's gone down twice on strikes tonight. And for the second inning in a row, you get that leadoff double. I'm unable to move him to third.
Well, if you're looking for a great place to watch a ball game and have fun, why not try a Progressive Field Suite? Suites host groups from 10 to 60 offer a great view of the game, along with premium food and beverage menus in a climate control setting. Call 216-420-HITS for full details.
Johnny Peralta looks at a ball outside. Taps it back over toward the Indians' dugout. It's going to be a quick turnaround for these two clubs. They'll be right back here tomorrow with a noon start at Progressive Field. Fausto Carmona and Brandon Morrow, our pitching matchup. We'll have it for you right here on Sports Time Ohio, beginning at noon tomorrow. Tapped it right back out toward the mound. Easy play for Camp. 2 outs. Chew down to third on the play. Travis Hafner now to the plate. Hafner tonight, 2 singles. Hit by a pitch his last time up. And it looks like Cito Gaston wants to go to the matchup role here. Did he make the wave? It would appear he has. So we've got a timeout. Bottom of the 7th, Tribe down 3. We'll be right back. As the Indians try to get some runs back here, Scott Downs coming on to face Travis Hafner with a runner at third and 2 away. Downs already a 3-time loser this year in 13 appearances. He has punched out 7 and walked 2 in 11 1/3.
Yeah, he is tough when he comes into left-handed batters, and that's the reason why he's here, maybe to get 1 out. They're 2 for 11 or 182 off of Scott Downs.
Hafner a tapper foul over towards Sandy Alomar. Guy brought his Pronk shirt, got a foul ball off the bat of Pronk.
How about that?
Hafner singled to center in the 2nd inning. And then a base hit to right in the 3rd. Hit by a pitch back in the 5th. Did he go too far? They'll appeal. He did not, says third base ump Ed Rapuano.
No, it's not Luis Valbuena up there.
Downs with a 1-1. And a strike called. He's ahead in the count. The pitch, and Hafner with a ground ball to second, kicks off the heel of the glove of Hill, but he still throws him out. And for the 2nd inning in a row, the Indians get a leadoff double but do not score. We'll go to the 8th, 8-5 Jays.
Presented by the authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Eight 5, Blue Jays on top. Top of the 8th inning. And right-hander Hector Ambrose will come on to work for the 3rd time this year. He'll face the bottom third of the Blue Jay order.
It's a young man that they have to take a look at and watch him. He's got a good arm. Obviously, you've heard us talk about the Rule 5 draft where he has to stay at the major league level all year long. But can get that fastball into the 90s, mid-90s.
And a breaking ball in there for a strike.
And a nice little hook right there.
Good breaking ball again, and it's quickly 0-2. Swung on and missed, 3 pitches, and a strikeout of Jose Bautista for Hector Ambrose. Let's send it back one more time to the studios for an in-game update. Here's Al.
Yeah, man, good game tonight between Detroit and Minnesota at Target Field. Bottom of the 6th, tied at 2. Runners at the corners. J.J. Hardy a base hit. That gives Minnesota the lead, 3-2. They're in the top of the 7th inning now in Minnesota. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Al. First pitch swinging is John Buck, and he fouls it out of play. Now the 1-1. Swung on and missed. A ball and 2 strikes. Now the 1-2 delivery. And a pop-up. Should be playable here. Russell Branyan. And he makes the grab. 2 down. Log on to STOstuff.com to grab the new All Bets Are Off talking chip clip. You've got the bottle opener, t-shirt, hats, and more. And don't forget our bobble desks are still available. STO gear only at STOstuff.com. Travis Snider looks at a fastball strike over the outside corner.
This kid has had a really good series to this point.
Travis Snider?
Yes, sir.
I was going to say Hector Ambrose looks like a different guy from the last time we saw him.
Yeah, you're right. He's out there. He's throwing everything for strikes.
The 0-2. Fastball strike inside corner. Rung him up. Hector Ambrose strikes out a pair. And the Jays go 1-2-3. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. 8-5 Toronto. Bottom of the 8th inning here at Progressive Field. Scott Downs will stay on to work the bottom of the 8th. He'll face Russell Branyan, Lou Marson, and Luis Valbuena. Branyan looks at a first pitch strike. Branyan with a piece of that, and it's 0-2.
Well, the Indians back in the 3rd inning, they had to wait till they get to 2 outs. And then they did all their damage, scoring 4 runs in that inning. And 4 consecutive hits. There was a walk in there. Well, and an infield single.
Now the 1-2 to Branyan. And again, it's right back to the screen. Russell tonight, couple of strikeouts, and once he popped up on the infield. In fact, when he popped up to end the 3rd inning, he was the 9th man to bat for the Tribe. That was a thing of beauty. The first 2 Indians hitters were retired. And then they got rolling. Branyan couldn't hold up. They'll throw down to first, and that's 3 strikeouts for Russell tonight. Well, on this date in 1991, do you remember where you were?
Yeah, I do. I was in Oakland.
The Oakland Coliseum. Chris James had a day to remember with 9 runs batted in as the Indians battered the defending American League champion Oakland A's. 9 ribbies, 1 game.
That's a heck of a day. It sure is. That's when Oakland, that stadium was fun to play in because the SS Davis wasn't out there in left center field. It was open, sunny. They had people in the seats.
And a strike to Lou Marson. Missed too low with it. 2-1 the count. Cito Gaston watched his club grab an early lead. Then they fell behind 4-1. Came back to tie it. Indians regained the lead. And since then, it's been all Toronto. 4 unanswered runs for the Jays from the 5th inning on. Marson fights it off. One of the things that the Indians may look back on tonight, as raggedy as this game has been at times, they had their leadoff man aboard via a double in the 6th and 7th innings and couldn't get him over to get him in. I mean, you chip away and score a run in each of those 2 innings.
Well, that's something they haven't been able to do, is consistently, do that. I mean, they had their big 4-run inning, that all coming with 2 outs, mind you. But the consistency of it just hasn't been there. They haven't been able to throw 4 or 5 hits like they do in that inning more than once a game. And if they do it once a game, it's very good.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Marson charges one deep left center, but it's caught by Lewis for out number 2. Well, tomorrow at 6, turn to STO for Outdoors Ohio. The Browns' Joe Thomas and the Plain Dealers' Darcy Egan will take a look at the latest hunting decoys. Outdoors Ohio tomorrow at 6, only on Sports Time Ohio. We've got the Tribe and the Jays putting the wraps on this 3-game series tomorrow at noon. Down low, ball 1 to Luis Valbuena. In terms of momentum, Valbuena was at the plate after Marson doubled to open the 6th and was trying to bunt him over to third base to put him in scoring position and could not do it. And then eventually was called out on a check swing by third base ump Ed Rapuano, even though the replay showed that Valbuena did not, in fact, chase after the pitch. Two balls, 1 strike. And a foul by Valbuena evens the count at 2-2. That's low, full count. A lot of pitches been thrown in this game on both sides. And again, Luis fights it off. Up and in, and it's ball 4. So a 2-out walk to Valbuena will bring up Mark Grudzielanek. He's 2 for 4 tonight. 2 singles, a run batted in, and a run scored. Here's Mark Grudzielanek now. '25th pitch by Scott Downs since he came in to get the last out of the 7th inning. The 1-0 is a called strike. Closer Kevin Gregg warming up for Toronto. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. And we've had a total of 185 pitches thrown in this game, and it seems like a lot more than that.
185? No.
That's what he just said.
Just for us.
I asked you the total. Oh, he can't.
185 pitches in total. That's no way.
Well, that's why I said it's 331 pitches have been thrown in this game. Tommy can't do 5 things at once, right?
No, he can't.
Swung on and missed, and we will go to the 9th. 8-5 Toronto. field. 8-5 Blue Jays lead it. And here in the ninth inning, top of the Toronto order. Hector Ambrose struck out 2, set him down 1-2-3 in the eighth inning. And misses for ball 1 to Fred Lewis. Ambrose, who grew up in Southern California, pitched at UCLA, came to the Tribe as a Rule 5 selection from the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. Lewis pops it up on the infield. Valbuena and Grudzalana converge. Valbuena calling. And that's out number 1. Tonight's player of the game came in batting 167, but Travis Snider has had a monster series. He is now 5 for 9 in the series with 3 doubles and a homer. Aaron Hill bounces it foul. 1 for 5 for Aaron Hill tonight. Fastball strike in the inside corner. And it's 0-2 the count. Reached for it, fouls it up the third base side, and slowly makes its way to Kerry Wood. Had a rough rehab appearance as he tries to make his way back off the disabled list. And a base hit into left field for Aaron Hill, his second knock of the night. First hit allowed by Hector Ambrose. And with 1 on and 1 out, Adam Lynn will be the batter, 0 for 4 tonight.
Well, there's one breaking ball. He just left upstairs. He's had a good one tonight. He's had good stuff tonight. That one upstairs, and Hill jumps all over and takes advantage of it.
We talked about this the other night, and I'm sure we'll have this conversation more times as Ambrose pitches, and that is with a Rule 5 draft pick, generally speaking, not every time, but generally, these are young guys who don't have a lot of experience, but you're taking a chance.
Bingo, young is
and
the
so you're going to have to live with some of the growing pains.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or you're going to put them in the bullpen and never use them. One of the two things.
No, you don't want to do that. You've got to see if you really truly want them first. So he's got to be put into situations where Manny Acta can get him into game action and say, hey, you got to like his stuff.
I mean,
mid-90s fastball. Yeah. He's got a nice curveball. Now, do you have the patience to let him develop? From what I've seen out of this bullpen, we certainly do have time. Now you just got to find a spot for him and let him pitch his way into it. It doesn't matter how young he is. And with a lot of young guys, and a lot of times it's consistency. He can go out there one great day and maybe a bad day, or, 2 bad days. But I like his arm.
I hate to keep using the Johan Santana reference because that's not fair, or the comparison. But again, the Twins had the same situation with a young Johan Santana where they had to let him take his lumps and slowly work him in. Eventually, he became a starter. Now, I don't know that that's down the road for Hector Ambrose, but
everybody has their Rule 5 guy that they take, and the Toronto Blue Jays drafted one in 1980 from the Cleveland Indians, Kelly Gruber.
That's a good call right there.
That went over and played third base there, number 1 draft pick out of Texas.
Liner to second ends the inning. So 2 good innings of work tonight for the young Hector Ambrose, and we'll go to the bottom of the ninth, drive down 3. in favor of the Blue Jays, and we go to the 9th inning. Kevin Gregg coming on to close it out for Toronto, looking for his 7th save of the year. He'll face Grady Sizemore, Shin-Soo Choo, and Austin Kearns. You remember last night, it was not a save situation, but the Indians almost brought the tying run to the plate in the bottom of the 9th against Kevin Gregg. So we'll see how sharp he is here this evening. Last night he came on in a 4-run situation, 4-run lead, so it was not a save situation. Grady Sizemore looks at a fastball for a strike. Fastball just missed, and it's 1-1. And that time it's called a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. You see Grady Sizemore asking Tom Hallion. That was the exact same pitch that he just called a ball before.
There's been a lot of question marks tonight, and that could be one reason why there's a lot of pitches thrown in this game, and that could be a lot of reason why there's a lot of walks in this game. I don't want to blame anything, but the consistency has not been there.
And again, you know, as we say, there are nights where for a pitcher, you say it is one of those games. And umpires have those where you just, every pitch seems to be kind of in between, like, oh, it's on the border, and I'm sure it can't be easy for those guys some nights. Swung on and missed a strikeout to start the bottom of the 9th. That's the 13th strikeout for Blue Jays pitchers here tonight. Stay tuned for the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show. It comes your way after we wrap things up here this evening. We'll look back at how this game unfolded, and we'll set you up for the series finale tomorrow at noon. And Al will have all the highlights from around the majors. Choo looks at a strike. Breaking ball missed. One ball and 2 strikes the count. Just fought it off and almost picked off Austin Kearns in the on-deck circle. He had to jump to get out of the way.
Tell you what, it almost got the bat boy, too, and that's why they wear helmets over there. It went right above his noggin. And I think it caught that railing there. That's called getting in there, and he just fought it up. Look at his heart's going. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Here's the 1-2 now. Low and away. Two balls and 2 strikes. And Choo reached for it, rolls it to third. Bautista slings it over and gets him for out number 2. Austin Kearns 0 for 3 tonight. He has grounded out. Twice he has struck out. He walked and scored back in the 3rd inning. And that was really an extraordinary inning in that Ricky Romero, the starter, struck out 6 of the first 9 Indians hitters to start the game. There were 2 outs, nobody on base. And then the next 6 Indians reached safely. And they scored 4 times.
It was strange. You're right. This guy, you're figuring, oh, my goodness, after last night, you didn't know if they were going to, do anything. Boy, they charged right back, but that was it after that inning.
They had a chance to make some more noise in the fourth. They got one run in, but that rally sort of fizzled. Grady Sizemore got caught leaning and was picked off at first base. That was the second out of the inning, and then Shin Soo-Choo grounded out, and that inning ended rather abruptly. Kearns with a bouncer. Nice diving stop at third by Bautista, and the throw is in time as Overbay scooped it out. And the Blue Jays have won again, beating the Indians by a final score tonight of 8-5. And now tomorrow, Toronto has a chance at a 3-game sweep of the Indians. So with the victory, Toronto is now 15-13 on the year. And the Indians dropped to 10-16 on the season, as the Indians have now lost 3 in a row. The winning pitcher tonight is Ricky Romero. He is 3-1 now on the year. The loss goes to Jensen Lewis, who drops to 2-1 for the Tribe. Time now for our play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank, banking home of your Cleveland Indians.
Well, you go back to that sixth inning. Jensen Lewis had walked a few in that inning, lost his control, and what happens? Here comes a double down the line. That is going to give the Jays the lead, and they continue. That was Gonzalez double. That'll be our KeyBank play of the game.
Well, fans file out, and for the players, it's hit the hay quickly and turn around and get back here in the morning. We got a 12 o'clock game to wrap up the series tomorrow. Rick and I will be right back with the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show